Hey, buddy, it's Daddy again. It's been a couple weeks, and I'm still over here flying the C-130, and I miss you very much. I love you. But I wanted to read you another story, okay? So I got you another book that Mommy's going to get out for you. But the book I'm going to read to you, here it is in my hand. It's called Gakky 2 Feet, and it's about some monkeys. So let's read it. This book is called Gakky 2 Feet, and it must be about this monkey that has 2 feet. Gakky 2 Feet by Mickey Dolenz. Wow, that must be the guy from the Monkees. Once upon a time, about 5 million years ago, in a place we now call Africa, there lived a fuzzy little yellow named Gak. Gak belonged to a group of creatures called hominids, and they lived in a place called big trees. They all liked to eat berries and bugs and swing in the trees. They ate berries and bugs and ran along the ground, eat berries and bugs and swam in the water, and they ate berries and bugs. I guess they ate a lot of berries and bugs. And there, you can see him eating all the berries and bugs. Yuck. There's the picture. There's Gakky 2 Feet. Gak was just like everyone else, except for one thing. He liked to walk around on 2 feet instead of 4. His friends made fun of Gak and thought he was out of his silly little hominid mind. They even had a nickname for him, Gakky 2 Feet. "Why do you walk around on 2 feet?" asked Gak's best friend, Plop. "It's embarrassing." Gak looked down at his 2 fuzzy feet and his legs, which were straighter than his friends. Then he replied, "I don't know, Plop. It just feels better." See? There they are. And this must be his friend Plop, who's walking on 4 feet. Like 1, 2, 3, 4. "Why do I walk on 2 feet?" Gak asked his mother. "I don't know, Gak," she said. "You've walked that way since you were tiny." "But everyone laughs at me and calls me Gakky 2 Feet, he complained. "It doesn't matter, darling," his mother said as she picked up a big fat juicy bug out of his hair and ate it. "You should never be ashamed of being different. Someday that difference might turn out to be very helpful." "I doubt that," Gak mumbled. Look at her, she's eating a bug. Yucky. "In fact," his mother continued, "you can be helpful right now. These branches are getting in my way. Why don't you take them down to the river?" So they're taking the branches down to the river and just throwing them out. One day, when Gak and his friends were playing in big trees, a cheeky little hominid named Frizz dared everyone to go out into tall grass. Tall grass was a huge place next to big trees, and it spread out as far as the eye could see. "We aren't allowed to go out there," warned Gak. "Gakky 2 Feet's a scaredy cat," said Frizz. "I am not," said Gak, "but I am scared of big cats, the kind that live out in the tall grass and would have us for lunch if they could." "Well, I'm going, and anybody who isn't a scaredy cat better come along with me," said Frizz. Nobody wanted to be called a scaredy cat, so they all followed Frizz. "I can't see a thing," whispered Plop to Gak. Glebe, a pretty little girl hominid, was limping along beside Gak. She had fallen out of a tree when she was a baby and had broken her leg. She had walked with a limp ever since. "I have a bad feeling about this," she said as she tried to keep up. There they are in the grass. There's a bug. Suddenly, Frizz stopped in his tracks. "What is it?" asked Gak nervously. "I don't know," replied Frizz, "but it sounds like it's big and it's coming this way." "I knew we shouldn't have come out here," said Glebe. "What are we going to do?" cried Plop. "If we start running back to Big Trees, it will hear us." There's Gak. He's looking through the grass. Just then, they heard a loud roar. "It's a lion! We have to run!" Frizz yelled, and he took off without even a look back at his friends. As quietly as they could, all the others scampered off in every direction and were soon lost. Wow, they're running, because they're scared. They think a lion's coming. As Gak started to run, he heard a voice. "Help!" it cried. He turned and saw Glebe limping as fast as she could. He didn't know what to do. If he didn't run, he might not make it back to the safety of Big Trees. But if he left her there, she would certainly become lunch for the hungry lion. Oh no! There's Gakky 2 Feet. He's moving fast because he's on 2 feet. He can run. Suddenly, Gak had an idea. He ran over to Glebe and scooped her up into his arms, like he'd done with the dry branches. Then he stood up tall at his 2 feet and looked out over tall grass. It worked. He could see everything. The sky, the mountains, and the lion. There's the lion over there. But now Gak had an advantage. He could see the lion, but the lion couldn't see him. Slowly and quietly, he started to back away from the huge beast. Then, looking over his shoulder, he saw Big Trees in the distance. "Are we safe yet?" whispered Glebe. "Almost," replied Gak. But Gak had spoken too soon. The wind changed direction and the big lion got a whiff of nice, fresh little hominides. The huge beast turned and headed straight for them. "It can smell us!" exclaimed Glebe. "Yeah, I wish that I'd taken a bath this morning," Gak said. "This is no time for jokes, Gak. Hurry up." Gak didn't need to be told twice. And though Glebe was getting heavy in his arms, he held on tight and ran as quickly and quietly as he could. Look, they look scared. They think the lion's going to eat them. When Gak reached the edge of tall grass, he turned and yelled to his lost friends, "This way, everybody!" He ran toward the nearest big tree, and his friends followed the sound of his voice. But the lion also heard him. "This way!" That's Gak. Gak could feel hot, hungry lion breath back on his neck. The lion leaped at Gak. Gak and Glebe leaped up into a tree. The lion's mighty paw just missed Gak and Glebe as they scrambled into the safety of the branches. Ooh, he's got big teeth. But they got away. They're making it home. By following Gak's voice, all the other hominides had also made it to the big trees. They sat in the branches looking down at the hungry lion. "You can forget about lunch now, you mangy old cat," yelled Plop. Gak and Glebe sat together watching the lion circling below. Glebe took Gak's hand in hers. "You saved me, Gak," she said. Gak turned and shrugged. "Oh, it was nothing. I think it was definitely something," she said, and gave him a big kiss on the cheek. Gak felt his face get hot, and if it hadn't been covered in thick fur, you would have seen it turn bright red. When night fell, the hungry lion gave up and disappeared. Back home, the leader of the hominides troop congratulated Gak on his bravery and presented him with an especially big berry. Then he declared that from now on this day would be remembered as Gakky 2 Feet Day. Gak's mother and father beamed with pride as everyone cheered. Yay! That was nice. Nice story. It's not over yet. "He'll make a fine husband when he grows up," Glebe whispered to one of her girlfriends. "But what if your children are like Gak and walk around on 2 feet? Her friend asked. Glebe looked down at Gak and smiled. Softly she replied, "That might not be such a bad thing after all." Look at all the monkeys, and they all started walking up on their 2 feet. Yay! That's Gakky 2 Feet. Did you like that book, bud? That was a good one with Gakky 2 Feet. Alright, that's another book. There's more to come. We'll see you soon. I love you. Good night. Night, night.